Hi Morgan, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
Very good. I wanted to thank you for coming in and seeing me today. I know that can be very difficult for some people. Before we get started, I would like to make sure that you understand exactly how all this counseling is going to work. Most importantly, I would like to know if you understand the term confidentiality.
To an extent.
Okay, what exactly do you believe confidentiality would be in a session like this?
Just that you don't tell anyone what goes on.
To an extent, yes, that is what confidentiality is. But I would like you to understand that there may be points in which confidentiality between us may need to be breached.
For what?
In cases such as if you tell me you are trying to harm yourself or you have harmed yourself, or if I believe that you will cause some sort of harm to someone else in your life or someone that you bring up to me. At which point, I will need to go and tell the appropriate person whether it is a place where you may need to go for some psychiatric help, or the person itself, what may be going on. Okay, does that majority make sense?
Yes.
Alright, now that you get the general idea of what confidentiality during these sessions will consist of, do you have any other specific questions for me before we get started?
No.
Well, my first question for you is going to be, what exactly brings you into counseling today?
Well, I haven't been doing so well in school lately, and I feel like I just get really nervous for tests, and I study a lot, but I never do well, and then it just is a downhill from there.
Okay, so your grades are suffering due to what I'm getting at to be test anxiety?
I guess. I mean, I study for hours and hours and days before the test, but as soon as I get to the test, I just forget everything, and then I lose sleep the night before the test, and it gets frustrating.
Okay, I can see how that could be very frustrating. Could you summarize exactly how you are studying for your tests?
Well, I will look at my notes and I'll read my notes, I'll rewrite my notes, I'll type my notes, or one or the other, and sometimes I study with other people. I've tried studying with music, without music. I've tried studying in a quiet place. I've tried studying in a place where there's other people around, and nothing seems to work.
Okay, so it seems to me that you've tried many different options for studying. Do you feel that there are any studying techniques that have specifically worked more than the other, or do they all come out with the same result?
Well, when I either rewrite or type my notes, I usually remember it a little bit more, and I'm able to get something on the page when it comes to the test. But if I study, like music, usually I haven't noticed a difference with that. But if there's other people around, that I think makes a difference. And I think studying by myself is helpful more than studying with other people, unless I really don't know it.
Okay. When did you notice your, test anxiety beginning?
Probably when I was taking the SATs. I had to take it 4 times, and that was junior and senior year of high school, I would say. I didn't really notice it with like other tests in high school, but it did start with around the SATs, but now it's with all my tests.
SATs can be very stressful. You said that was around your junior and senior year of high school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you notice any specific mood changes or any ways it's affecting you, your friends, your family with this test anxiety?
When it was around the SATs, not really. I mean, it was just I would study for them and then take the test. But now that it's more so with mostly all my tests, I'll like really not sleep the night before, and it definitely affects my mood.
Mm-hmm.
And because when I don't sleep, I get really cranky, and then I'll like snip at people and just yell at them for no reason and take stuff out on them and blow something completely out of proportion, and starting to, I think, affect some of my friendships. It's not so much my relationships at home
Mm-hmm.
because they're not here, but like definitely some of my friends, like if I have a test coming up, I can usually tell that they're not really wanting to be around me as much because they know that I get so stressed out and I don't want that to happen.
Okay. So you are becoming stressed. Is some of that stress due to the fact that you realize your friends are kind of distancing themselves when you get anxious or snippy about these tests?
Yeah, I think that adds to it because I'm stressed about my test and then I'm stressed about, are my friends mad at me because I have a test, or are my friends, upset with me because I'm not, being the nicest person that I could be, and it's just snowballing at this point.
Overall, how have you been coping with this problem? And what exactly has been working coping wise and what has not been working?
Well, it depends on what day I have a test. Some days I have time to take a nap, some days I don't. I can definitely notice a little bit of a difference when I can take a nap, usually after the test, because then I can feel a little bit more refreshed, and also the test is over,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'll be a little bit better after the nap, and then I'll usually get an okay night's sleep the night after the test, but usually until I get the test back, I don't really sleep that well, but I don't know, usually naps help, and then I don't really have a whole lot of time to go to the gym because I'm studying so much, and so, I don't know, I wish I had more time to go to the gym, because sometimes that helps too.
Has the gym always been a good gateway for you to get out some stress, reduce anxiety, and relax?
Yeah, it usually helps only because I can focus on something other than tests and
Mm-hmm.
school and everything else, like when I'm running or something, but I mean, I haven't really had a lot of time to do that, and then that kind of stresses me out too, not being able to get to the gym.
Okay. So you're stressed because you can't get to the gym, and that adds on to the stress of the test anxiety, or studying for a test, or waiting for your grades to come back, and that is all just snowballing and spiraling out of control. Okay. What would you say is a good coping strategy that you've done that has worked for you in the past when it comes to studying for tests or waiting for a grade to come back?
Usually before the test, I'll study for a really long time, and then I'll study for 4 or 5 hours straight, and then I'll take a half hour to an hour break and just leave the library and not do anything school related, and usually I'll get something to eat, and then I'll go back to the library. But study breaks and planning stuff like that usually helps, and making a study schedule, because then I know what I have to do at certain times. But after the test and just waiting for the test to come back, I just try not to think about it and try and get through the day so that I don't have to worry about the test and then just wait for it to come back.
So it seems as if being able to figure out a schedule and take breaks is a very good way for you to get away during the test or during studying for a test. But it seems as if you are not so sure exactly what to do as you're waiting for the grades. And that can be very stressful. You seem to be from what you've told me, organized, setting up schedules, knowing exactly what your next move is going to be, and the not knowing whether you did good on the test, bad on the test, what your grade's going to be, that seems like it causes you a lot of stress, anxiety, and which could also add to the not sleeping, the snippiness, all that other stuff.
Yeah, also because when I'm waiting for a test, if I don't know how well or how bad I did on it, if I did really bad on it, then what's my next move supposed to be as far as my grade for the term, or my total grade for the class based on this one test? Some of my classes, my tests weigh, each test weighs 25%. That's a lot for one test, and So I feel like because I don't know what the grade is, I don't have, like, I can't plan for the next step.
Mhm.
Like, I could do really well, I can do really bad, or I can do mediocre, and there's just so many options that can come out of it that it's hard for me to plan which way. And obviously in college, there's no extra credit,
Mhm.
so I feel like not having that extra step to take is really frustrating and adds more stress.
Very frustrating and stressful. But before we end our session, I would like to ask you what it is you expect to come from counseling.
Um, Honestly, it helps get my frustration out a little bit and to just talk about it, and it's more of like an outlet. Like, even though I'm thinking about it right now, I'm not stressing about it. So it's helpful, and it just makes it feel better.
Okay. Would you be open to me suggesting some studying strategies or some anxiety or stress reliever activities for you to do?
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of every session, I tend to ask my clients to do a little homework. Are you okay with that? Open to it?
Mhm.
Alright, what I want you to do is, do you have a test coming up anytime soon?
Next Wednesday.
Okay. As you're studying for this test, I want you to write down where you're studying, how you're studying, if there's anything in your surroundings giving you anxiety or stressing you out, or any thoughts that might be running through your head stressing you out. And when you take the exam, when you're done, get back to your room, I also want you to take note of how you think you did, what grade you expect to get on it, or anything that stressed you out or made you feel anxious during your exam.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll see you same time next week.
Yep.